Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Late Night Brew, where we talk the brews first, then we get around what we're supposed to after the fact. Joining me once again for the next installment of the Defender series is Mr. Jonathan Hazelden. Once more, John, welcome back.
Hey, Buck. Glad to be back again.
As always. Now, before we dive into what endpoints can defend or protect, you know the drill. What brew are you having with me today?
So I actually have a glass of rosé, which I'm told is the first time anyone's done that on your show.
It is. It is. It's fermented, which is close enough to being brewed, so I'll take it. Both the summer, so I don't blame you.
Exactly.
On that, I've actually got a mimosa sour beer.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's quite light. It's not very sour-y or mimosa-y, which I guess is good because you can drink a lot of them. So good and bad depending on how you look at it.
I've never heard of that. That sounds very interesting.
Yeah, Hambo in Australia always says he wants to visit the US just so he can sample all the different ones that I've had.
Yeah.
All right, let us dive into it. Now, what endpoints or what operating systems can Defender help protect?
So Defender can help protect, as you would imagine, Windows devices. So Windows 10 and 11 from your workstations, and then everything from server 2012 up to 2022 from your server platforms, and that can be whether they're cloud, in the cloud, or whether they're on premise. So that's from a Windows perspective. It also protects Mac OS and Linux. Not with the complete set of capabilities that Windows has, but but the majority of them. So
Still
we've seen quite
to monitor and protect.
Yeah, it definitely gives you a good level of protection. It's more the automation, the automated response capabilities that it doesn't have for those platforms. But we have seen a number of customers that we've worked with directly, and they, maybe they're mainly a Windows operation, but they also have onboarded Linux and Macs. So that's the workstation side of things. But Defender also protects mobile devices, so iOS and Android, and it's they call it mobile threat defense, and it's a slightly different way. It works in a slightly different way. Ultimately, those devices use a Microsoft Defender app that gets installed, to be able to use some of the Defender capabilities and report back to the Defender service in the cloud.
Interesting. I think the most surprising takeaway for that was actually Linux is already rolled into it, and servers. I didn't realize servers could be pulled in. Quick question of clarification before we roll to our next official question.
Yeah.
They don't, or do devices need to be enrolled in Intune in order to get protection from Defender for Endpoint?
No, they don't. But it's better if they do, depending on what the capabilities you want and how how much coverage you want in terms of how the devices are configured. There's a lot more you can do if they are enrolled in Intune, but they don't. It's not a necessity.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm sure somebody has that question out there that's listening. On that topic, actually, that's a great segue, unintentionally, of how do administrators manage Defender for Endpoint?
Yeah, so there is a multitude of ways to manage it. I mean, the two most common ways are, number one, Intune, number two, MECM or SCCM, if you're still running device management on-prem.
Plenty of
obviously
organizations are.
Yeah, we've worked with customers that that use both, or even co-managed, have a co-managed configuration, and or if you're using Macs, maybe Jamf, and so those are Those are kind of the main platforms for management. And within those platforms, that's how you. So for Intune, for example, it's easy to onboard the machines because Defender is part of the operating system. So it's already there. It's just a case of onboarding them, and then all the configuration from your antivirus policies through to your kind of attack surface reduction policies and some of the advanced features can all be configured and managed directly through Intune or MECM.
And in the Defender portal, I believe there's a lot of reporting elements, which I think we're going to get into in another episode. So I'm going to stop myself there as I realize what I say. Awesome. Well, that I believe wraps up everything. And yep, no more questions from this side at least. Thank you very much, John, once again for joining. If you have any questions or anyone watching has any questions, please feel free to reach out. As always, our contact info is below. Thank you very much, my friend. And until next episode, cheers.
No problem. Cheers.